Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we're going to be focusing a little bit on the PlayStation 5 versus Xbox Series X and S, and also kind of how the whole experience when it comes to the Xbox and why they're not necessarily selling as many consoles as the PlayStation 5. We have a very interesting discussion, and especially these types of videos, I'd love to kind of hear your thoughts down below, and also a bit of a new take too as well, and I kind of want to ramble and talk about it because it's a very interesting subject on why the Xbox Series X is basically not really selling as much, not really making as much, and why it always kind of seems like they're basically shortage is going to maybe go on a little bit longer than the PlayStation 5. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. I would really like to hear your thoughts and comments down below because it's kind of like a take that I feel like is somewhat out there, but not necessarily a mainstream kind of thought process. As well, I always do kind of enjoy like the comparisons between the PS5 and Xbox. Now, I'm not like a biased one on either or, even though I do slightly prefer a bit on the PS5 itself. I think actually when it comes to the actual Microsoft ecosystem, it's great. But when it comes to this stuff, I'm very kind of curious on your thoughts as well. And also, if you guys are brand new, we are giving out a brand new next-gen console, so make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. Amazon links down below for the PS5 controllers and stuff like that as well. The Twitter and Twitch stream down below if you guys want to follow. And of course, the Weeble and Coinbase. You guys go and deposit $100 in a Weeble. You guys go get free stock in Coinbase. You guys go buy $100 worth of any cryptocurrency. You guys go and get free Bitcoin. So the whole type of video is going to be more so based on why the Xbox shortage is still kind of happening and kind of the next thoughts when it comes to Microsoft. So if you guys are regulars on my channel, we talk about the PlayStation and all the next-gen consoles, and we have a lot of the generic stuff, which I'm not going to dive into too much because we actually have a new topic, but I'm sure you guys have heard about the chip shortages, the semiconductor issues, of course, the pandemic having a lot of material issues, and all of that stuff. I'm sure that's been beaten to the ground. You guys all know about that if you guys know about the consoles or are trying to get the consoles. And of course, as well, when it comes to next gen, you also have the scalpers you have to deal with. But as well, on top of that too, you have botters and also just people that are they're just really bored and they want to go and play games. This is all common knowledge when it comes to the Xbox Series X shortages, and same with the PlayStation 5. But more of an intriguing note is that we might actually be seeing Microsoft specifically choosing to go and have a shortage of the Xbox Series X and S. And I think the reasoning kind of makes a lot of sense. It does kind of fit the actual Microsoft like ecosystem and idea. And overall, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. So this actually comes over here from Jez Corden, who actually made a statement on over here that was talking about the basically the sales configuration between the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S that states, a lot of these PS5 and Xbox Series X sales analysis ignore the fact that Microsoft is using its limited chip supplies to upgrade the Xbox Game Pass cloud streaming to Xbox Series X server blades this year. The rollout has actually begun to already, with Microsoft is now testing the deployment in Seattle right now, and I've been told the extra overhead from the Xbox Series X processing for video encoding makes a huge difference for latency. I expect the gap between xCloud and Stadia streams to be utterly eliminated this year. So what does this kind of mean, and why am I talking about this, and how does this even relate back to consoles? So the idea behind this is more so stating that instead of Microsoft themselves trying to go make as many consoles as they can and flood the market as they can, of course, they still want to do this. They're still going to be making consoles. It's still like a somewhat important figure, but they want to go and more so focus more on the Game Pass and streamability of all of their games, which absolutely actually makes a lot of sense too as well if you kind of think about it. Because as you guys know, Xbox has been very hardcore into pushing for the Xbox Game Pass because that's where they make a lot of their money. Think Netflix. A lot of their money that kind of comes from that is from their subscription-based services. And every single month, if you're on the Xbox Game Pass, it is a pretty good deal too as well with a lot of game offers. That also means that you're getting a monthly actual income coming on in that you can be somewhat reliant on. So it's very intriguing to kind of go and see how this kind of plays on out, because we do actually have a major focus from Xbox. You guys can go and tell from that from PC when it comes to them acquiring brand new IPs. And also when it comes to another topic we're going to talk about is also on phones and XCloud. So that's like the major topic over here before we dive into it more. And I'd like to hear your thoughts if you guys agree or disagree that they may just want to say consoles, we'll make them when we can make them, we'll sell them when we can go and sell them. But as of now, we more so want Game Pass to be our focus. And I do think that's a right and smart take, and I do think I agree with that. So if you guys don't actually know what Project XCloud actually is, just more so imagine this stuff for cloud gaming. Think like Stadia, where you can basically, instead of actually having to have like the disc games or download the games, you live stream the games. You basically live like download them as you're on like your phone, your tablet, or even, you know, some, I believe also as well, maybe for Xbox too, if you actually already have an Xbox. I think it's very similar to that. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. But basically the idea of this is It's just like PS Now, it's just like Stadia. Instead of you owning the game, you just go and stream it. As the internet connections get better, as our normal hardware like phones and stuff like that get better, they want to more so focus for that market instead. Which once again, I think that's very, very smart because we are seeing a lot of people on Game Pass. It would get more people on Game Pass, and overall it is a broader market. And typically people want to go and get their consoles. They'll go and get them whenever they want to go get them whenever their store is available. But on top of that, too, a major factor, if you compare it to the PS5, PS5 has always been more traditional. They want to sell hardware, they want to sell consoles, they want people on the PS Plus, but as well, they also want people buying their AAA games. They make a lot of money off their AAA games and all those people like the Spider-Mans, God of Wars, Ratchet and Clanks, etc. And when it comes to Xbox, we've kind of already known that they want to focus more on the subscription-based systems. We've seen it on many different occasions and many different times. So it makes a lot of sense, too, once again, that they more so want to prioritize into things like XCloud instead of actually focusing on the consoles. And a few other side notes, too, as well, when it comes to the Xbox. The Xbox actually is harder to make when it comes to their semiconductors because they do use a slightly more in-depth hardware internal system. It's not that much harder, but it does cost a little bit extra money, we believe, as well as also it's just harder to actually mass produce, especially as of right now with the semiconductor shortage going on. So this will once again maybe why they almost want to force the Xbox Series X like basically shortage on it, because that's just not where their priorities lie. Now on the reverse side, the PlayStation, as we mentioned, their major priorities are more so we want people with consoles, we want first mover advantage, which we actually saw already with the PS5 being one of the very first consoles to be sold up in China, and especially they actually got their first initial restock wave and hype wave and press announcements already like last week before the Xbox even has actually even put a single console in the country. And that's why it kind of seems like a very interesting market, because we do know that Sony is more focused on traditional and producing consoles and getting people in their system, while Xbox is more so like, hey, we got PC, you got a PC, get Game Pass. Hey, you got an Xbox, hey, go get Game Pass. Hey, you want to go get on the Xbox Cloud, go use your phone, go use your tablet or whatever, hey, yo, go get some Game Pass. And both the systems in all theory work, and they're not necessarily traditional like competitors as of right now, if that's like what their two major focuses are. And it would actually make sense too if Xbox can actually make more money by just getting people on Game Pass and investing in their architecture, investing their development into things like xCloud, and it actually works on out. Even though, I mean, I never really liked Google Stadia, so I kind of I don't think our technology is there yet. Maybe like 10 years from now or whatever, but I still don't think a lot of these streamer things are actually that good. Besides, if you're maybe like a traveling businessman or like something like that, I don't know. Like most people just play games on their normal setups. But anyway, that's a completely other rant for that. You guys can tell me your thoughts on that down below. But it does make a lot of sense because Game Pass would make a lot of money, has made a lot of money, and we've seen time and time again that they're trying their best to get as many developers, as many games, and as many reasons for people to keep their Xbox Game Pass subscriptions the best they can. And we even saw that a lot throughout the past few years, where they even had like $1 first month subscriptions. And basically, if you have an Xbox Game Pass, you guys can use like and play almost all of the backlog for all the major games out there. So it makes a lot of sense too, where we're seeing like Xbox themselves almost purposely like causing the shortage and basically just being like, hey, whatever happens, we're gonna make whatever we can go and do happen, and then we're just gonna go and focus on making money in almost every other regard. Because like I said, kind of a quick recap, they make more money, they get people on subscription-based models with like Netflix and stuff. It is really hard to make these consoles, and they actually might even have to lose money as well. And it's like the final last major thought. Xbox actually might just have to literally lose money to go and compete with Sony, because they'd have to go and actually probably go and expedite more orders, pay extra money for more semiconductor chips. And as of right now, if it's harder to make than the PS5 with their custom hardware, and it's hard to make that as well for the PS5, and if you have all that put together, they're probably going to lose even more money in the long term, especially if they have to pay an extra millions of dollars to make more consoles and flood the market with it. But then they could also just be spending all this money and just trying to improve Xbox Game Pass. So I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts on this down below, because there's a lot of very intriguing thoughts I had with this, and I think it's a very kind of evident, like we see it a lot with Game Pass, and we just know that Xbox really wants to focus on the Xbox Game Pass. So very intriguing for me, especially for me, because I'm more of a PS5 guy on my YouTube channel, but every now and then Xbox does do something very intriguing, very unique, and it does do a lot of things that kind of click in the system that make a lot of sense. So I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts and comments down below, because this is a very, very interesting take, especially if they're forcing the shortage to more so just go and sell things on Game Pass and focus on Game Pass, which once again makes sense. We also have PCs out there too as well. So I would like to hear your thoughts down below, and I just think it's a very interesting topic. So let me know. I'll probably read through all the comments throughout this video. Make sure you guys are subscribed as well with the notifications on for restock news. A lot of the restock news also affects Xbox. As well, we also have our next-gen console giveaway going on, so make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on and use the link tree for bonus entries. Twitter and Twitch stream down below if you guys want to follow. The Weeble, sign up for Weeble, deposit $100, and you guys go get free stock, free money. Coinbase, you guys go buy $100 worth of any cryptocurrency. You guys go get free Bitcoin. And of course, as well, make sure you guys go follow up all those little links down below. Like the video. I just appreciate you guys all so much for watching. I'll see you guys up tomorrow for some brand new videos. Love you guys.